Happy Tuesday, guys. Welcome back to My Forever Plus One. We are
we really gonna introduce ourselves at the beginning of every video? But just in case, I'm the man from Jersey.
And I'm Teriyaki. And today we have some yummy Chick-fil-A.
Ooh, we haven't had Chick-fil-A in a minute.
We got it from Newport Mall in Jersey City, and we haven't been there, according to my store map, since September of 2019. So it's been quite a while, and I don't even know if we ate Chick-fil-A that day, but still, it's been since last year.
And it was convenient because we actually had to go to the mall because I ordered some Vans online and they didn't fit me. So we went to Newport to the Van store, got them swapped out, and then we were like, why don't we just eat at Chick-fil-A?
Yeah. So shout out to Chloe at Vans for helping us out with everything. She was great.
Shout out to Chloe at the Van store in Newport Mall in Jersey City, New Jersey. Amazing customer service.
Yes.
The world would be a million times better if we just had like a million Chloes in customer service.
Yeah.
So we got the Chick-fil-A.
Yes. What we usually get is our fries and burgers.
You got big fries?
Yeah, I always get large fries.
I know I'm stealing some from you.
We always get, I said burger, sandwiches and fries. But today we are trying for the first time.
Wait. Let me get mine out too. You got the bigger one too?
Wait.
I feel like I got the medium. Why'd they give you the medium? Or is that mine?
I got a medium too.
They played me then. They gave me a small. I asked for a medium.
Oh.
Anyways, we
trying
got the mac and cheese.
their mac and cheese.
I definitely ordered a medium. They gave me a small. I hope they didn't charge me for a medium because that wouldn't be too wavy.
Yeah.
You got the receipt, babe? Did they charge me for a medium?
Do you have your receipt?
I might. It is what it is at this point. What are we gonna do? Got all the good sauces, the barbecue, the buffalo, Polynesian. Ooh, let me just put those over there for now.
I got, whoa, where's mine? I got Chick-fil-A and Polynesian.
Did they even give me the
go-to.
Polynesian? Oh yeah, they did.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just put like one of each right here and just have them on deck.
Okay.
One of these days for the channel, we might give you guys a behind the scenes of how we shoot this, because it does get a little janky at times, a little improvised. But what you expect? We're in the car.
You know what I like about Chick-fil-A?
What's that?
They always give you plenty of napkins. Oh.
Hold up. Oh,
And
this bag noise.
I only had one Chick-fil-A sauce at the beginning, and then I asked the girl for extra Chick-fil-A sauce, and she gave me 3 more.
Okay. Well, let's get into it. I can't believe they gave me a.
Check your receipt.
They gave me a medium. I mean, did they charge me for a medium?
Better not.
Probably gonna have to sanitize my hand again.
Well, that's your Vans receipt.
My Vans receipt. Where's my Chick-fil-A receipt? I don't even have it. Or do I?
I hear something.
This might be the Taco Bell receipt. Ah!
Well, that's the Taco Bell receipt. I really like that one.
Medium fry, 1 mac and cheese.
Yeah, $3.75. I feel like that is a medium.
How much was yours? Do you have your receipt?
$3.75.
So they just played me, man. They charged me for a medium and they gave me a small. Man, $3.75.
Do you want to just swap?
Man. No, it is what it is. But like, it'd be nice if there's a way we could complain and like get like the credit.
Twitter. Okay.
What are we gonna do with Twitter? Alright, so now we see why.
That tweet's gonna come later to them.
Yeah, that sounded horrible. Guys, we're eating some Chick-fil-A today, and we're gonna be talking about, we mentioned it in the last video, we're gonna be talking about a little bit about our debt history. So we're gonna be talking about that.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just get into this food, honey, because
I really want. Let's go take some bites of the food first. You want to try the mac for the first time? Because since we haven't had it.
You think I should just get at the mac first and then eat the...
Well, I don't know. I'm gonna just get at everything together.
I might just eat the mac first. Let's see what this mac.
So we've never had this before.
Yeah.
So let's try. Bon appetit.
Oh, okay.
Cheers.
I like it.
I've heard good things about their mac, and now I know why.
That's pretty good macaroni and cheese. I just hate how it's like
for
5.
fast food.
I just hate how it's like 5 bites and almost on it.
Yeah. I'm gonna save the rest of mine for later. Haha. Please don't fall. Okay.
That's delicious.
I'll just continue to have their yummy waffle fries while I'm waiting for him to finish his mouth. Obliterated.
That's it. Mac and cheese is that thing that you never...
I wonder if you get the large, if they actually really do fill it up a lot. Because then it would be really worth it if you get the large. It's good.
Alright, so now I'm gonna let's get into the real meal. Got the little... Ooh, look at the numbers. 23. Got the little Chick-fil-A sandwich, chicken sandwich with pepper jack cheese on there.
He gets the spicy one all the time, while I get the regular Chick-fil-A deluxe.
Heck, your patty looks thicker than mine.
No say.
I guess this is one of those experiences where you just got the...
Well, I got the tomatoes and the pickles. You didn't. You just got cheese and chicken, right?
Yeah. But your patty looks thicker than mine. Look at this. Your patty looks well fed compared to mine. Yeah. I don't know if you guys could tell.
Well fed.
Your patty looks well fed. That was a well fed chicken.
When you haven't had it in months, it's like it hits differently.
So you want to talk about the dad now?
Yeah, you can start off. Because, okay, so basically our debt talk is going to be one success story and one on the road to success. So let's start on success story first.
Okay, so I don't know how the heck I allowed this to happen, but I ended up getting $19,000 into debt, which I want to say like 65% of that was just food. But I guess I do know how it happened because I was unemployed. When I went back to school, I was focusing on school. And I kind of really wasn't looking too hard for a job because I was just like focus on the big picture, you know, focus on going to school, doing really good in school, and getting a high paying job and whatnot, and making the big bucks at that point. So I wasn't really focusing on a job, but I had a credit card. I had one, and then I think I got another one. I got approved for another one. And long story short, I was just, over like the course of 2 years, just swiping away at these credit cards. Swiping away.
And you said it was mainly food, right?
Mainly food, but there was a couple little things, honestly, that I bought. Like the Ronin, for example, or the camera. The camera that we're using right now to shoot this was also part of my 19K debt that I got into. This was like, how much was this camera? Like 2,000?
Give or take.
Give or take. We have the Sony a6300 for anyone who doesn't know. But yeah, so I just kept swiping away, making the bare minimum payments. It got to the point where basically the card got maxed out or whatnot. And then it kind of became 3 cards I had, right? I had the Best Buy, I had the Wells Fargo, and I had the Capital, no, not the Capital one, the Discover.
Yeah, so 3 cards.
Discover had like 7, I think the total credit I had was like 7,500. I think Wells Fargo was like another 3. And then what was the other card I said I had?
Best Buy.
Best Buy I think had like another 7 or something. I don't know, I just know it was 19K total. I forgot how it got divvied up. I just remember calculating that number one day and kind of getting down on myself because I stopped going to school because I lost interest in school. So I wasn't in school anymore. I didn't really have like a reliable job where I was making a lot of money because I was still living at home, and I got lucky that, you know, my dad wasn't charging me rent or anything. So I got really lucky in that aspect. Maybe that would have even motivated me more if I was getting charged rent or something, had to pay rent. So I wasn't in school, didn't really have a good job, and I had this 19K debt.
It's also good while you're eating the chicken sandwich.
Oh yeah?
You want to try some?
No, I'm good. So I got into that debt, and whatever. I ended up going back to school. Remember, I went back to NJCU. Because it's weird with school with me. I like would go for a little leave, then I would get remotivated to go back, whatever. Would stay motivated for a semester or two. And then the last time that I decided, okay, I'm gonna go back to school, I'm gonna get this this bachelor's degree. I went to NJCU. Same thing happened. Lost interest fairly quickly. Kind of just thought like school wasn't for me. Especially when the teacher was playing YouTube videos in class as like a demonstration for what we were learning. Kind of just thought I could just be learning this at home. I could be self-teaching myself this. I could become self-taught. So, whatever. But one bright spot was that when I went back to NJCU, or when I went to NJCU, it's like a light bulb went off. And I took a student loan for, I think it was like $3,000 or something like that. And long story short, with that money, I bought the car that I have right now. And I got this delivery job in Hoboken. And I just busted my ass, pretty much. I'm sorry, we normally don't cuss, but ass is not really like a bad word like that. Kids can say the word ass.
It's in the dictionary.
Yeah, and I just busted my butt off. You know, I was working like 60, 70 hour work. My girlfriend knows. I was pulling like 12-hour work days consistently every day.
Yeah, he got the delivery job in Hoboken, which we talked about in our last video. And then once he was done with his shifts there, he would work Uber Eats.
And DoorDash.
And DoorDash, yeah.
Both. Combined, it would be like a 12-hour work day. It was kind of crazy, I'm not going to lie, but I was just motivated because none of us ever think like, oh, well, yeah, I'm just going to get into this debt. It's 20. No, none of us envision ourselves being tens of thousands of dollars in debt. It kind of just happens, and then you always have that day of realization where you're like, F, how to let myself get this deep in this debt? And I didn't like that feeling, you know. It was like 2 years that I had that debt there, and it messed with my credit score because I was like, once I maxed the cars out, I didn't even have enough money to make the payments. So some of those cars were going months overdue, and it was just a messy situation. And I didn't like that feeling at all. So I got motivated to pay this debt off as soon as I could. And remember, I told you I didn't have to pay rent. Rent is like the thing that holds people back the most because everyone's paying, you know, $1,500, $1,900, you know, if probably like $1,000 if you're splitting with someone, or like $1,000 to $1,500 if you're paying by yourself. You're like $2,500 a month. So I was lucky that I didn't have to pay rent. So I was just accumulating as much money as I could, spending as little as I could, and just trying to make bulk payments towards my debt. You know, $1,000 a week, or whatever might have you, something along those lines, $900 a week. And slowly but surely, probably took me like 5 months and I got it all paid off. For like 6 months and I got it all paid off. And I kid you not, that was like it's the best feeling, like knowing that I don't have debt anymore. And now I'm at the point where I'm actually just stacking up my money. So I went from debt to paying it all off, and now I'm saving up money.
Yeah, and he's also still using his credit cards to keep his credit active. But he makes multiple payments each month, right? Like 2 payments a month on them.
I try to do it responsibly. I try to not have more than like $100 on my card, you know, and I pay it off way before it's even due.
And sometimes you do make 2 payments a month, don't you?
Sometimes, yeah, sometimes. That's just like if I'm feeling weird, like if I'm just like, oh, I just want to get it out of the way, I'll do it. And then I'll use the card like 2 days later, and then like a few days after that, I'm like, I need to pay it off again. I don't like this feeling. So. And
one thing that like I remember is that Discover actually worked with you to like get your interest rate down, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, he called them, and then they actually worked with him to get his interest rates down and to make like a payment of a certain amount every month so that he can pay his debt off in like a certain span, right?
So how it got was that I still remember. It was like during my break from class. I got an email. I forgot what the email said, but it was something that was serious. Serious enough that I walked out of class, went outside, got on my phone, and like tended to this. Called Discover, and they're basically just telling me you owe in between $700 to like $800 to us. Because mind you, I had missed like 4 or 5 months straight of payment.
$700 to $800?
Yeah, it was like $700 I owed them. Yeah.
Okay.
They were like, the next payment has to be like $700. And obviously, I couldn't pay that, so I was like, yo, let's work something out. And then they basically worked it out with me to where they cut off all the interest. They were like, you have no more interest you're going to be paying on this. And we'll just set it up so that every month you have to pay $144. I remember that was the number, $144 every month. But we're going to close the account. which you guys know that doesn't look good on your credit. When you get a credit card closed on you, it doesn't look good. But like, what am I supposed to do? So I just had to bite the bullet. It's like a panic thing, and I was like, okay, cool. We'll do that. No interest sounds good. $144. I'll see how I could come up with that, but the card will be closed. And yeah, I mean, slowly but surely, I just started paying them off. And the method that I took to pay them off was I got this from the Ramsey dude.
Dave Ramsey.
Dave Ramsey. I paid off the smallest card first. I think that was Wells Fargo. I had like $2,500 on it. Bulk payments on that. Bulk payments, got that out of the way. The next one was the Best Buy one. I just remember for sure the Discover was the last one because it had like almost $8,000 on it. That was maxed out. Paid that one off last, but still making the minimum payments every month on it, but just making huge bulk payments on the other two to get those knocked out first, pretty much. And that's basically it. That was the method that I took. A lot of hard work, no play, but I was just motivated to get out of that debt because that definitely wasn't a cool feeling. So, and it feels great now. It feels amazing now to not be debt free, tied down with these interest rates every month. Because I know on Discover, if I paid like $100, I was getting charged like $44 interest. So you're like, man, I really only chipped off 56, but I gave them $100. That's such a corny feeling.
Yeah. I kept checking it because for some weird reason I felt like your face didn't look like it was crispy.
But
so I kept going like this, but yeah, it is. How's that? Was that buffalo?
Yeah.
Interesting.
What?
I don't know. I'm not a big fan of buffalo.
I love buffalo.
Interesting. So, do you have anything more to say about your debt story? Or any advice you can give to someone who's trying to pay off their debt?
Basically, this kind of just goes to where, like, you could apply this to, like, if you aren't where you want to be in life, like, why are you playing around so much? You should be working. It applies to that too. But, if you have some debt you're trying to get paid off, like, you got to put the work in, bro. You're not going to put in, unless you're getting paid at your job, like $30 an hour, you're going to have to put in work. Stop playing around. Stop complaining about not working weekends or like not wanting to work weekends. Put your head down, work, stay disciplined. I know we all got things we want to buy. You see some nice shoes, or you hear about this event, you want to go. Bro, if you really want to get out of debt, you'll put those to the side and focus on the debt. If not, then you're kind of just talking about it, and lead with actions. So just work really hard. We got all these side apps, all these gig apps. You can have your 9 to 5. You could do Amazon Flex. You could do Uber. You could do DoorDash. Like you work with the promo companies, brand ambassador for liquor companies. You could look into so many side hustles that you could do to make extra money after your 9 to 5 or before your 9 to 5 or whatever. Just structure it a certain way. Try to bring in like an extra couple hundred, 200 a week.
Yeah, like if you
and just stay disciplined.
If you have that regular 9 to 5 Monday through Friday job, you can dedicate like Saturday or Sunday, like a day of your weekend or even all of your weekend to like side hustle. It helps out.
It's all good. Instead of wanting to go out on the weekends and spend money, why don't you try to make some money paying off your debt? Because trust me, that feeling will be so satisfying when you get out of it. Just speaking from me, because I know I felt great when I paid off the last couple hundred, or I think I had like 1,000 or something still on there, like 1,500, and then I got my direct deposit hit, and then I just boom made that last bulk payment. Felt so good. It's like you feel like you just got out of jail or something, for real.
I remember being with him every single time he paid one of the cards off. He'd make the payment with me. I'd be right there next to him, and he'd be like, "Look at this," and he's like, "Look at this, look at this." And then he just once he clicks the submit button, you could just hear like that sigh of relief that comes from him. He's like, it's finally paid off. And then he checks it like a few days later when he's with me, and he's
when
like,
it
look,
clears.
He's like, look, it says 0. It says my balance is 0. And I'm like, yes.
That is not cool.
Yeah.
Pretty much just stay disciplined. That's really what it comes down to. It's inside of you at the end of the day, just how disciplined you are. And like I said, it'll be so satisfying or gratifying. I don't know which one's the right word. They both probably work, right?
Yeah, both work.
And I was gonna say that because we live in a day and age now where you have to take your future into consideration. I don't mean to bore anyone or sound like I'm being preachy or like your father or something, but like it's true. Like you need to take your future into consideration. especially if you have a significant other that you see a future with, or you got a future family you want to start up, some kids or whatever. Take that in consideration, because if you want to raise your kids in a home, you're gonna need some good credit. You're gonna need to provide that you're making a certain amount of money over the last 2 years. My cousin told me these things. Over your last 2 years, you have to, let them know that you made a certain amount of money consistently those last 2 years in order for the bank to give you that loan, And yeah, definitely debt is something that holds you back. That doesn't look good. And the longer you let it linger there, like if they know, oh man, you've had this debt with this card for like 3-4 years, that doesn't look good. That doesn't look good at all. You just need to not give the bank any excuse to not give you that loan. So chop that debt away as soon as you can. Still use your credit cards, but make the payments on time. Because, credit could be to your detriment, or it could help you. It could go either way. So don't let it be to your detriment. Use it to help you build your credit score for your future. And that's pretty much it. That's all I have to say. 19K debt. That wasn't even that much. 19K is not even that much. I know some people have 30K, 40K.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars.
That's a lot of debt. But, where there's a will, there's a way. It'll just take a little longer. But with the right discipline, no doubt in my mind, you'll get there. No doubt in my mind.
So with me, growing up, I saw my dad and my mom get into a lot of debt. Mainly with credit cards. I saw one of our cars get repossessed when I was 7, because my dad listened to some coworkers who were like, stop making payments, you'll be fine. And then a sheriff showed up at his job and was like, we need to take your car. But I always remembered seeing that, and I remember telling myself, I never want to end up like my dad and my mom. I remember when I was 18, I opened up a bank account at Bank of America after my debut, which is basically the Filipino equivalent to a Latino's quinceañera or a Sweet 16. You get a lot of money when you have one of those parties. I didn't even say I came up by thousands and thousands of dollars, but I got a good amount of money. And I was like, okay, let me put it into a bank. And when I opened up my accounts, the lady at the bank was like, why don't you get a credit card?
Yeah.
And I was like, I really don't want to. She's like, you're 18, it's good for you to start building your credit at this point. You don't have to use it, it's just good to have. And then maybe if you do want to use it, just use it little by little. It came to the point where I was a freshman in college and we were struggling to pay bills, and my mom or my dad would ask me ever so nicely to just help them pay the bills with my credit card, and then they'll pay it back. And I remember I was also I also had a work-study job at the time that I was using to just for my expenses, for textbooks, for food, all that stuff. And then, okay, I guess I'll contribute some money to paying back the credit card, since one of the things that they asked me to pay was the car insurance, and I was the one using the car. So I was like, I'll contribute. But then I ended up losing that work-study job. Also, at the time, I was paying off a laptop that I got from Dell, and I ended up losing the work-study job. I didn't really have a means of paying any of my bills. My parents were having a tough time with money as well. My mom's been jobless since I was 7 or 8. My dad was working 2 jobs, his main full-time and part-time handyman job, and they weren't helping me out. So it basically got to the point where I got sued because I wasn't paying either of those cards. Technically, the Dell came out as a card too. Eventually, some stuff happened miraculously. My mom was able to help me pay out the cards. Let's just say we came onto money, but because of an unfortunate circumstance, I'll just leave it at that. But she helped me pay it off. She kept to her word that she was going to help me pay it off. So always thank you to my mom for helping me with that. But once again, I was like, okay, so that happened to me. I don't want to get into more credit card debt. And I wasn't. I think I finally got approved again for a credit card after being sued twice when I was 24 years old. So when I had my first job out of college, that's when I got my first credit card again. And it was from Capital One. I still have the account to this day. And I was just using it little by little, paying it off really well. And then things happened again. I lost another job in 2015. And it came to the point where, because my credit limit was a good amount from Capital One, I kept charging utility bills, the phone, the TV, the electricity. I would keep charging it all. we were having trouble buying groceries, I would charge that. It's not even that I was just swiping my card because I saw like some nice clothes I wanted to get or nice like shoes.
Necessities.
Yeah. It was all necessities. Like, I wanted to keep the lights on. It was so depressing being at home in the quiet, so I wanted to keep the TV on so that, like, because sometimes, like, I'll say it right now, like, sometimes it's so quiet and then you're alone with your thoughts and then either me or my mom would just start crying. And it's just, like, just to avoid that, I wanted some noise and, like, some entertainment to at least put a smile on our faces in a dark time. So I would just keep charging everything, and then I built up debt that way. And then just things kept happening back and forth with, like, you would get the money to pay it and then you don't get the money to pay it. And then I would always keep making the minimum payments and my debt just got bigger and bigger. Because obviously, like, cell phone bills aren't a joke every month. And then at the time I was still paying the DirecTV that was under my dad's name. So it's not like we were in, like, some introductory offer where we were paying a little bit a month. It was, like, literally also almost $200 a month. And the phone bill, too. And the electricity was high and we were always delayed, so we'd have to keep paying like hundreds and hundreds a month. So it was just all this debt. I just let it accumulate and I regretted it. And then I got more other cards just to like help build my credit some more after like it suffered so much to me being sued a few years back. So I just kept getting other cards. Like I remember the smallest card I got after that was like a Victoria's Secret card. Like I'd get little cards from stores, Express, Macy's, certain things like that, just to like help me build my credit. And it's so hard when you like lose a job or when you're living paycheck to paycheck because you're just making all these minimum payments on your cards. Plus, one thing he mentioned in his portion was that he's lucky that he doesn't have to pay rent. Me, when my dad was still around and willing to help, he would pay more than half of the rent and my mom would pay the other half. Luckily for us, we've been in the same apartment since I was 2 years old, so for the past 28 years. And it's a rent-controlled apartment. So we're lucky to be paying, like, a small fraction of what other people are paying nowadays to live in that area.
Probably like 40% of it.
Yeah. Like, there's a few of us in rent-controlled apartments still in that area, still in that building. I think probably, like, 3 of us in the set of 2 buildings. And we're all still, or 4. We're all still in rent-controlled apartments. We're extremely lucky to keep having them. And it just works out that once my dad stopped cooperating and started like leaving to the Philippines and stuff, I took upon the responsibility of paying his half of the rent because my mom, like I said, is jobless. Basically all she has is her pension from her retirement, which got more added onto it because my dad retired too. Because that's what happens when like both of you work. Mm-hmm. Like whoever makes the most, that'll benefit the spouse too when you retire in Social Security. So it happened to my mom. Like her monthly pension didn't grow significantly, but it grew. Like it helped like to have a few like maybe like $100 or $80 more a month. So until now, I still keep paying $400 in rent, and my mom pays the other half. And it still like living paycheck to paycheck sucks. Like I hate it, and I was always stressed out. Like I would always like have all these stress pimples and like it's just very stressful. Like I can't say it enough. And I remember like one thing I like about our relationship is that we can talk about our debt openly. Like I can talk about my debt with him openly and I don't feel judged. Because in the past I have felt judged, but he's never judged me for it. He has like what I'm lacking, I guess he kind of, I don't want to say makes up for, but he helps balance out.
I'll put it like this, if I could just interject real quick, honey. I know debt sometimes it just comes up, right? Like I said, there's a day you wake up and you just realize, it's a moment of realization that how'd I get this much in debt? It happens. People get in debt. I don't mind people getting in debt. What I do mind is, like I said, the people who are in debt and just complain about it and don't try to do anything to get out of it. That's when you need to lace up your boots and go out there, however you decide to do it, as long as it's not illegal or hurting or harming anyone. Do your best to make money and chip away at it. I respect that.
Yeah, so I'm lucky enough to have a boyfriend who really encouraged me to hustle more. He encouraged me to always search for like better opportunities when it comes to money.
Wait, but we did get into arguments over that.
Yeah.
So those conversations did lead into arguments.
Yeah. Because honestly, talking about money does make me uncomfortable. Because when you've gone years arguing with your parents about money, you don't want to keep hearing things about money. So that's basically like where I would come from when the arguments would start, because he keeps trying to talk to me about money and I'm just like, I don't want to hear it. But he always had a good point. I'll tell you that. He always had a good point. And then he helped me devise strategies for like paying off my debt and stuff.
Yeah, I would break it down to a T for you. Like, this is how much you should try to make every month.
Yeah.
This is how much you spend. This is how much you should try to like put aside towards your debt. And then it's a simple formula. It's how much you make, how much you spend. Try to make way more than you spend, and whatever you have left, if you're really about paying off that debt, literally put like 80% of that. Maybe leave like 20% aside for like an emergency thing, like if you need to get your car fixed or something. Put the bulk of that towards that debt, and just boom, bulk payments, man. Bulk payments. There's nothing better than a $1,500 payment towards your debt, or a $2,000 payment towards your debt. I'm telling you, if you're watching this video, give it a try. Bust your ass off for 1 week and make a bulk payment, and tell me you don't feel good after you do it. And if you do it, come back to this video and drop a comment on it. Let me know how you felt. Baz, you were saying?
I really wanted more food.
And like and comment and subscribe to this channel, because we never said that.
But he helped me develop strategies and everything. But I honestly couldn't start getting it afloat until I started working full time again. Because like we said in the last video, or Benny's video, that we just had this like part-time job at Hudson at the time. And honestly, like 24 hours a week doesn't cut it, or even less doesn't cut it when you're still gonna live paycheck to paycheck.
24 by 12, so 24 times 10 is 240, and then what would that be? 48 more, like put like 290 a week. It's not gonna cut it. I've had single days on Uber where I do 300.
Yeah.
Single days.
It just doesn't cut it. And like I just kept searching for more opportunities. Like I thought by taking on, you want more fresh? I don't really have that many though. Save me more. Save me some.
This last one I take. Yeah.
Okay. But
right.
I even tried, like I thought it would even work when we lost that job and I did the Huntington and Apple together. Didn't work, still lived paycheck to paycheck. What really helped was when I started full time, when I covered for his sister during her maternity leave. That's when it started helping. I started seeing more money coming in, and I started like divvying up like everything in the correct way. I was never at the point where I'm like, I can't even afford to get gas. Because I even got a credit card for gas at one point because I couldn't afford to get gas. And it started working for me once I started working full time. And it kept going even until I got that dreadful job at Carlo's Bakery. I was still working on paying my debt. And I have the numbers right here. In November of last year, November 5th is when I made this list. I had in credit card debt $11,107 roughly of credit card debt. And I was just like, okay, enough is enough. I really need to like buckle down with this. I have these full-time jobs and stuff that are helping me pay my debt. So I stopped making like all the minimum payments, because I was just paying minimum or like twice the minimum when I was living paycheck to paycheck. But I started gradually increasing once I started working full time. And especially when I worked at Carlo's, I would increase it even more. I'm still doing that now with like the Uber work. I'm actually managing to pay way more than that now. And I'm paying more credit cards off. I had like how many accounts? On November 5th, I had 12 credit card accounts. Small cards and big name cards. So that's 12 credit cards. Right now, as of July, I only have 8.
So a third off.
I paid 4 off successfully.
A third of them.
Yeah. I paid my Victoria's Secret, my Ulta, Exxon, Amex. I remember I even had like a Sephora card too that I paid off, an Express card. I paid all those off. But I paid those off, those small credit cards, and I still have 8 credit cards that I'm trying to pay off. And as of today, my current credit card balance totals up to $5,729.28. So I've paid more than half my credit card debt off.
Yeah, and keep going.
So I've paid more than half of my credit card debt off. And I'm really happy about the progress that I'm making. All the strategies that he's learned and now he's teaching me, I'm utilizing. And I'm using him as like an inspiration because he paid off his $19,000 in debt.
It's such a simple formula.
And then here I am. I started with $11,000 and now I have like $5,700, I think. And it's like I'm doing it. I'm making my progress. I'm getting there. So I'm very proud of myself that I've gotten this far, and I'm paying them.
Like I said, honey, the main thing is just putting your head down and working. Because it's literally incomes and expenses. And the income is not just going to magically appear unless you strike the lotto.
Yeah.
You're going to have to bring that income in somehow. And, you know, you got to put the work in. You got to put the work in. No matter whatever it is. Like you actually going out there and doing the labor that's earned. Or you trying to start a business up or whatever. But however you decide, you're going to bring in that income eventually. Just work hard towards that, you know? But I had a couple things I wrote down while you were talking. Just a couple pointers to people. Look, this is just how I feel, you know, just what I learned. Take it, do with it, whatever you will. One big thing is school debt.
That's what I want to talk about next.
All right, so I'll just say the other things and then we'll get into the school debt thing last. One thing that I always tell my girlfriend is, because life will pass you by. You know, so it can't just be work, and no fun, right?
That's what I tell you.
Yeah, and I'm learning that too now. That's why I cut my work hours down. But my main thing is you have to have a plan. You really have to have a plan. You have to break things down to a science, down to a T. How much you want to make every day, how much you want to make every week, how much you want to make every month, how much you plan on spending every month, and then whatever that difference is from your expenses. So let's say you bring in $5,000 after tax. That's another thing too. If you're doing independent contractor, you pay attention to your taxes. I always put aside a fourth of my earnings towards tax. So let's say I made $6,000 in a week doing Uber, $6,000 in a month, excuse me. Out of that, immediately slice off a fourth, $1,500. I made $4,500 after everything. Let's say all my expenses with gas and rent and all this stuff, let's say it was $2,500, just to keep the numbers simple. I have $4,500 after taxes, $2,500 expenses. If you subtract that means I have $2,000 left over that I could put towards debt, right? Take that number, analyze your debt. If you're $20,000 in debt and you have $2,000 at the end of every month that you could play with, that's 10 months. In 10 months, you could pay off your 20K debt if you stay disciplined. Now, what I was saying before this, you know, sometimes you want to have a little fun in life, right? Like, you know, you want to treat yourself. You feel like, man, I've been working really hard. I want to treat myself to something, right? Whatever that may be. If you want to go out and get a nice dinner, take your girlfriend out, you know, or you saw some nice shoes you wanted to get, that's cool. But my thing is, and I always tell her this, if that thing costs you $80, that thing that you spent money on, that wasn't like a necessity expense, try to make those $80 back over the course of the week. So if you do it, okay, I spent $80 that I didn't have planned into my initial expenses, 7 days in a week. If you do the math, if you make $12 extra every day of that week, Monday through Sunday, that's $84 extra. You made up that $80 thing that you spent money on. So, like today, for example, we came from the mall, and
he basically said the same thing to me, because I saw a windbreaker at Vans that I really wanted. It was pink, my favorite color.
How much was it?
$64.50. So I was like, I really want this, and he's like, well, do your best to earn an extra $65 this week to pay it off. And I was like, doable. So I got it. So let's say my goal for the week was
$1,000.
Yeah,
try to make $1,080.
1,060.
1,060. Excuse me. Yeah.
1,065. Let's say 1,070.
Yeah. And the reason I break it down like that is because when people see large numbers, they get intimidated. They get nervous. They get scared. It's overwhelming. When you break it down into tiny little increments or whatever for people, it kind of takes that like nervousness away. So like how I told you, you have 20K in debt, you know, and I just break it down to a science. Like, just try to make this much each day. Just try to make this much each day. Try to make like $160 a day. It's not that hard to do nowadays, you know. And then just break it down to a science. So like with your thing, it's $65, right? Like you could, like, I'm not gonna tell you, honey, you gotta make $65 extra tomorrow than what you normally did, because you'll be like, oh no, that might be too much. Now I gotta make like 200 something, you know. But if you break it down into, just try to make like $12 extra each day this week. now that seems a little more doable,
it's
right?
way doable when you make the number smaller.
A little more realistic, right? So these are little tricks that you also have to put into your head that'll help you along the way, you know, to not get discouraged. And yeah, so like I was saying, don't feel like you can't have fun, because you very much can. Just if you're gonna have fun, try to make a little extra so that you had fun, but you still stay on track with your timeline towards paying your debt. You know what I mean? So that was one thing I wanted to say. And then yeah, now we can get into the school thing.
So another aspect of my debt that I didn't mention before is I have a lot of student debt. When I graduated St. Peter's with my bachelor's, I had, I think, $23,000 in student loan debt. And all my grad school education from 2015 to 2018 was all student loans. So in total, I have about $115,000 in student loan debt.
I thought it was 100,000.
Credit Karma had like that plus my actual credit card debt in total. So maybe that's why it came out to 115. So maybe it's like 105. Let's say 105,000 in student loan debt.
That school debt don't play, man.
Yeah. And it's not like it's just me. There's millions and millions of other people in this country with student loan debt.
That's crazy.
I remember my god brother, he's in his 40s. I don't know how old he is now, but a few years ago he was in his 40s. He was telling me that he was still paying his student loan debt from when he went to school at DeVry. So he was telling me that he was still paying off some of his student loan debt. And I was like, geez, it's not just me. I have family, friends that are going through it. I have old classmates that we're all still talking about how much student debt we have.
Hold up. We're beating around the bush. Let me tell you something right now, guys. We live in a day and age where your parents tell you from when you're a kid, go to school. Go to school. That's the formula. If you want to be successful, if you want to make a lot of money and have a good life and not be a bum on the street, you have to go to school, right? You have to get a degree, right?
Yeah.
But that's not always the case.
Yeah, it really isn't,
because you have people who go to school,
like me,
get hundreds of $1,000s into debt, and that really sets them back for years of their life. It actually sets them back.
Yeah, I feel like I am set back a lot, like, because I don't even know how I'm gonna begin to start paying that back.
I mean,
so I've been deferring it and deferring it.
But
and
with
then,
you're one class away from your master's. The least you could do now is you might as well get the degree. And hopefully, I don't know how much your field pays, but if it pays good, you know, honey, we're in this together. So like I said, you just continue with the formula. How much you make, how much you spend, make bulk payments. But
yeah.
Wait, hold up. I ain't done. Word of advice to anyone out there. Don't go to school unless your career absolutely depends on it.
Like mine.
Absolutely depends on it. If you want to become a doctor, by all means, go to school.
A licensed practical counselor like I'm going for, you have to go to school for your license.
But if you want to go to school to learn how to do music production or like video production or, you know, things like that, a lot of these things you can literally teach yourself. Like
YouTube.
You can literally become self-taught. Like I said, when I went to NJCU, I went for media arts. So I was trying to learn video production, how to shoot video, how to edit, you know, sounds, music, how to engineer. So many of these lessons. The professors would have the lessons down, right? They would refer. They would literally tell us something and then refer to a YouTube video that we would watch in class. Like how crazy does that sound? I'm going to school to watch, and we end up watching YouTube videos.
Yeah.
I could have did this at home by myself in my pajamas with the AC on, not having to deal with the guy behind me who smells horrible. He didn't shower. You know? So that was really when I was like, am I wasting my time here? Like, why am I coming here? Why am I spending so much time in class when I could just be home teaching this to myself? And then I have to take tests, and I have to worry about not filling the course, or I have to pay the loan money back or whatever. You just go to YouTube University, watch videos, take notes.
Or if you're into reading books, you can buy books on Amazon or something and buy books on the subject.
It's no different, right? It's the same exact concept. It's like a book. You read, you take notes, and then you put it into practice in the real world.
You said video production, right? Didn't you buy a book on like video production? Yeah, he bought a book and he's learning a lot more from that than he did in class.
So a lot of these things you can honestly self-teach yourself. You don't have to go to school and get thousands of dollars into debt. Trust me, you don't. You know, And if you get unmotivated, like, just start somewhere in whatever you're trying to learn. Try to find a mentor. That's a big thing. Try to find someone who could teach you, show you the ropes a little. Try to network. Try to progress in that field, whatever it is you're doing. Only go to school if it's 100% necessary. You want to become a doctor, a lawyer, I guess. I mean, I don't know what other fields. Those are just the first two that come to mind. Avoid school if you don't 100% have to go there. Trust me. Avoid the debt. Avoid the financial headaches that come with it. Teach yourself. Be patient. Put the work in. That's the formula to life. That's my rant on school. Don't go unless you have to. Don't listen to your parents. Our parents have this outdated 1970s formula embedded in their head. This is 2020 now. This is a new day and age. We have millionaires who didn't go to school, who didn't go to college, who didn't graduate. You know? Entrepreneurs who didn't go to school. You know, you go to school to learn to work for someone. You know? And you don't have to go to school to learn how to become an entrepreneur, how to start your own business. You know what I mean? You could self-teach yourself that. Take money, start a business, and now you're el jefe. You're not a worker, you're the boss.
Well, with like what he said, like, I am going to school because the field I'm going into, you need the education. But eventually, my main goal, once I am a counselor, is to open my own private practice. So I can work for myself and, like, and there's a certain level of entrepreneurship to it that, like, professors that have their own private practices have told me. And, like, I'll definitely go back to them and ask them for advice when it gets to that point. Or even now, when I'm going to start going back to school. So, like what he said about finding a mentor. Like, I have so many professors that I can go to in my master's program that, like, can really advise me and help me devise a plan on, like, how I can get to the point where they are with their private practice and everything. So that's definitely one of my ultimate goals when I do get my degree. But yeah, once I do get my degree, I do want to start paying, like, the bulk of my student loan debt off. I see doctors on TikTok that, like, they're like, oh yeah, we went to school for this long and we have $400,000 worth of student debt. And I'm just like, that's like 4 times what I have, and I can't even imagine how I'd pay that off. It's like a big crisis that's affecting a lot of people in our country. The student debt crisis is not a joke. And like he said, like, if you don't have to go to school to make all that money, you don't have to. You don't always have to go the route that, like, I did, that, like, I got my bachelor's, got into student loan debt, went to get my master's, got into more student loan debt. You don't have to go that route. Like, it just depends on what careers you're choosing. Like me, yeah, I do need the education. I knew I need it for licensing purposes. But things like what he was going for with, like, the video and the audio, like, you can teach yourself that. So really, like, when you're in high school and you're trying to look at your options, what they instilled into me in high school was that I went to a college preparatory school. So obviously they're preparing you right away. You have to go to college. Like, that's basically what they're telling you indirectly. If you're a senior in high school or even a junior, because they start encouraging you to think about college as a junior, think about your options. Think about what you really want to do in life. And if you don't know what you want, that's fine. That's perfectly fine. Like, I had friends in college that they didn't know what they wanted to do until they got to their junior year. But try to think about it. Try to get a good gist or grasp about it. There's career counseling out there. Some schools have career counselors. They can help you with that. But try to see, do I really need to go the school route? Or can I just go a different route and avoid this hundreds of thousands of debt that so many millions and millions of people are having in, like, the United States? Because you don't see that student loan debt in, like, other countries. Like, I've heard, like, Germany doesn't have that kind of stuff. Places, different countries in Europe, they don't have that. But here, it's like, it's the thing. Automatically, every single college grad somehow has a little bit or a lot of student debt. So it's like, if you can avoid it, I advise you to avoid it. Because right now, all I've been doing is deferring it and deferring it and deferring it. And I'm scared of what it's going to come out to when I'm finally done with school and when I'm going to start finally doing it. But what I can do now is start saving up for it. Like, I'm making more money now. I'm paying off my small credit card debts. And then the money that I'm using to pay off those credit card debts is what I'm going to set aside once I pay all that credit card debt off. I'm going to set it aside and I'm going to put it into, like, a little fund for when I start paying off my student loan debt. And for rainy days, obviously. it's always good to have money for rainy days. Like rainy car repairs, sudden car repairs and stuff. You never know when you'll have an emergency. So it's always good to have like some money set aside for all of that. And that's what my plan is now. Like I want to pay off this $5,000 something that I have left of credit card debt. All the money that I'm using right now to pay off all my credit card debt, I'm going to set it aside. And once Navient, the old Sally Mae, decides to be like, hey, you need to start making your payments, we can't forbear it anymore, I'll have at least something that I can pay them back off with. So wish me luck. I see it all the time. Like I follow other vloggers like Asia Dang. Like she's still like paying off good chunks of her student loan debt. I know people personally that they're all still like paying off their student loan debt. I know people who have paid off their student loan debt, but that's because they came up on like really high paying jobs out of college. But that's another story. I'm not the only one going through it, and then seeing other people go through it as well that are close to me, or people that I follow that are like giving their advice on how they're getting through it. I take that, and I also take like seeing other people paying it off as like inspiration. So I know I can do it because other people can do it too. So I'm here, I am inspired, I'm motivated, and I'm ready to put the work in. I'm ready to hustle. I'm ready to make like myself proud, make my mom proud, make him proud. I'm just...
Don't tell me, show me.
Ready for brighter days. Because I know once I get out all this credit card debt at least, things will be a lot brighter. My bank account will be a lot happier. And I'll be on the road to paying off my student loan debt. Like I do have the class from my last... I do have the money from my last master's class. That's a whole nother video. I could talk about how I got to this point. But with the pandemic going on, I don't know how I'm supposed to secure an internship for my last class. Because all I have left is my internship 2 class. That's my final class in my master's. I had to repeat it, so hopefully I can secure an internship somehow. I don't know if they're actually enrolling students because of the whole pandemic thing. Like, because internship, you have to be hands-on. You have to be with people. You can't just do it on, like, online learning. No, you can't do it that way. It has to be hands-on. So I haven't enrolled in the class yet. We'll keep that for a future, maybe a life update. So I have to still figure out how I'm doing that because this whole pandemic really screwed a lot of things over. So hopefully I can get the master's stuff sorted out soon. But while I'm doing that, I'm gonna be paying off my credit card debt. So wish me luck. And we'll keep, obviously, if you guys will still keep tuning into our videos, we'll keep you updated on our progress. Maybe I'll do a video like Asia Dang when she finally paid off a significant amount of her debt, of her student loan debt. She did a video on it. She even bought herself a cake. I might do that.
I wish you would have had this idea for this channel when I still had my debt. We could have documented me paying it off. That was lit.
It was cool. It was lit. Just seeing him right there next to me with his phone. He's like, babe, I'm getting ready to do it. I'm getting ready to press submit on this amazing, huge-ass payment that I'm about to make. And once you hit submit, you just see the look of relief on his face, and he's just like, I did it. And then a few days later, he's like, babe, it cleared. It says 0. I have a 0 balance. And
I remember I checked every single card.
Seeing him.
I logged into each one and just 0, 0, 0.
Like, let's say he would pay it off on the Tuesday. That would clear maybe Wednesday or Thursday. That Thursday, he'd be like, babe, it went through. Look, it went through. I have a 0 balance. And it would just be like, just hearing the excitement in his voice and seeing his face light up and how happy he was to pay it off. It's like, that's inspiring me to do the same for myself. So you're my inspiration.
Thank you.
I feel like also, since this is a couples channel, you can talk about the relationship with it. But I feel like relationships, you should inspire each other to become better. Like, I always see things about like growing together in a relationship and stuff. And that's what he and I are doing. We're definitely growing together in our relationship. We've been together for almost 32 months. Like, we've grown a lot since December 2017. We've grown together a lot. And he inspires me to become a better person. He's my He's my biggest cheerleader. Honestly, he's my biggest cheerleader. Even sometimes when my mom like is kind of discouraged about things, like if I approach her with something and like she's like, he's always like, no, you can do it. You can do it. I believe in you. Like, I have a video of him with that exact voice. He's like, I believe in you. You can do it. And then just to have a person like that in your life, in your support system, is an amazing feeling. So thank you. Snookums bookums.
No problem, honey. But yeah, let's wrap this up. Like I said, guys, if you have debt, don't get discouraged. Stay calm, stay relaxed, with a clear mind. Try to form a game plan.
Keep calm and form a game plan.
On how you're gonna get out of this debt. Now, that's step one. Once you have the game plan, now it's time to execute, right? Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face, right? But you know what? But hey, if you're gonna take a whole bunch of jabs, you're gonna keep getting up, right? Execute the game plan. Slowly but surely, debt's gonna start clearing away. It's not gonna happen overnight, but trust me, along the way, when you see that number get lower and lower and lower, it's gonna become like a rush. Yeah. And you're gonna be like, man, I want to get this even lower. I want to get this lower. I want to get this lower. And you're just gonna keep getting motivated more and more and more along the way, until it's a zero balance. Yep. And you're just gonna kick back when it's zero. You're gonna kick back, put your feet up, maybe have a glass of wine, and just go. Feels good.
Like me, I can't wait till like this 5,700 something I have in debt, in credit card debt, goes down to like 3,000 flat. It goes down to like 1,500 and finally goes to zero. Like, I can't wait. I really can't wait. I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm excited. My knees are twitching.
Alright.
My knees are twitching.
Alright, anyway, we should probably close this out now. You got like,
you can close this one
easily
out.
Like 70 minutes of...
Yeah, close this one out, because I closed the last one out.
Alright, guys, so that's pretty much our talk on debt.
Yeah, our debt stories, I guess.
Yeah, our debt stories. Hopefully it inspires any of you guys who watch this and have some debt. Hopefully this inspires you to know that where there's a will, there's a way. It's not the end of the world. You can get out of it. It really, at the end of the day, is just how much you want it. And yeah, that's basically it.
And if you guys have any advice for us or any like motivational words of wisdom, please feel free to drop them in the comment section.
Yeah, with this channel, please, hopefully we develop like a fan base that's nice and positive. Like, we want no negativity in the comment section. And the world is already messed up as is. We don't need more negativity.
Yeah.
Just let's keep it positive in the comments. Shout out to all our subscribers. If you made it this far, then we already know you're a real one, because you watched us blab on for like 50 plus minutes, however long it is after editing. And yeah, if you made it this far, you already know what to do. You gotta hit that subscribe button. You gotta drop a like on this video so other people it could be recommended to them. And just comment whatever comes to mind, as long as it's positive. This has been My Forever Plus One. I'm the man from Jersey.
I'm Teriyaki.
And you already know we're gonna see you in the next video. Peace.